Namaste. Hello, hello everyone. Instagram and YouTube is letting you guys know that we are going live today. Hi everyone, welcome. Happy Thursday. Today you don't want to go anywhere because what is the topic of my live? Does everyone know, guys? By the way, if you want to join me on YouTube, please do so. Um, Today, my live is about 5 steps to build an empire. Are you guys here to build an empire? Yes or no? And also, yes? Okay, fantastic. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to jump in and then we're going to get started. So after we finish this live, what I would like you guys to do is to take a notepad, listen to it again and again, and write down everything. Then start practicing and doing the steps that I'm sharing with you guys today. Okay, lovely people. I don't see Jeff is supposed to connect with me. Usually he's very on time, but right now I don't see him. Rafia, welcome, honey. Welcome, Rafia. CMA, welcome, everybody. I see some new faces here. Nice. Good to see you guys. Welcome, everybody. Okay, Jeff is here. I'll see him now. There we go. I also accepted Jeff's invite. If you guys don't like Jeff, just write a comment and tell me you don't want him to be on this live, so we sent him out. Good morning, Jeff. I was talking behind your back.
Oh, yeah. Hi, sweetie. My Instagram wasn't showing me that you were live. I had nothing to join. So, sorry about that.
No
I blame
problem.
it on them.
No problem. Okay, very nice. So, 5 steps to building an empire, right? This is our topic of the day, Jeff. So, I'm going to start and then you can jump in whenever you want to. Step number 1, which I found is the most crucial steps to take, is comes with 3 questions. What do I want? By when do I want it? And third section, why do I want it? So these 3 questions, what do I want? Why do I want it? And by when do I want to achieve this to build my empire is extremely important. So these 3 questions is basically bring us back again to clarity, to be crystal clear about what is it that we want to do, right? And when we come to this part of clarity, I keep saying clarity is power. Why do I say that? Because I want you guys to feel this energetically. When you're clear about where you're going, when you are crystal clear about the end goal, where you're going, what do you want to achieve, how does your empower look like, right? The energy in clarity is very sharp, is very like focus. Yeah. So it's like, think about, imagine the clarity of your vision as a very sharp, straight movement energy. And then come to unclarity. If you feel the energy, if you guys could see the energy of unclarity, the energy is scattered, right? The energy is cloudy, is scattered. So what are the chances of us using that scattered, cluttered energy to hit our target, the chances are much, much lower, right? Jeff, do you want to jump in, say something here before I go to the next step?
No, I mean, if you want me to kind of comment on,
Of course,
I think,
comment on
yeah,
it.
once we get to
Absolutely.
the, I thought once we get to the why, because I think that, what's kind of hanging out in my brain right now is going to be a little bit more applicable to getting clarity on the why.
Okay, so shoot. Tell us why. What do you want to add on why?
Well, I feel like this is a little bit cart before the horse, because I don't know that you covered that yet, but, when you talk about clarity and you're talking about how powerful clarity is, we can go pretty far upstream. And what I mean by using that word going far upstream is asking the same exact question, well, why do you want that? And you could do that with what do you want? Not so much with when do you want it. When do you want it, we interface with time in a much more finite way. Mm-hmm. But with what we want and why we want it, those things can be a bit cloudier. We might be deluding ourselves. Well, what I want is $1 million. Is that really what you want? And maybe what you want isn't the $1 million. Maybe what you want are the things that you think $1 million is going to get you. Mm-hmm. And maybe you think the $1 million is going to buy you a home. Mm-hmm. And you think, okay, and so I'm kind of collapsing what you want and why you want it to the same thing. It's like, well, why do you want a home? What is what you really want a home? And maybe what you really want is space for you and your family. Mm-hmm. Okay, and maybe what you really want is safety. And a home occurs as safer than an apartment with a bunch of people. That occurs to you is safer. What you want is some sort of financial stability. Well, why do you want that? Because you didn't have it and you've been through it. So, we can continue to kind of collapse by continually asking ourselves why we want what we want over and over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And just drilling it into ourselves until we kind of make ourselves, almost upset with ourselves. Like, I already answered this question. But if you do the hard work and you keep answering that question, you might really get down to some simpler answers. What you don't really want is the $1 million. What you don't really want is the house. What you really want is safety. What you really want is space for you and your family. Absolutely. Okay, well, cool, because there's a lot of different ways to accomplish that, and maybe you don't need the $1 million to get that, and you can live a happier, more fulfilled life shooting for a different target, perhaps.
Absolutely. This information was so valuable. Was it? Dorsa, hello, my love. I miss you so much.
I miss you too. Hi. Thanks for accepting my...
Sure, I saw you and I said, here's my girl. I haven't seen her for ages. Where are you right now, Dorsa?
I'm in Albania.
Albania?
Tirana, Albania.
What's happening up there?
Yeah.
What's going on there, love?
Well, I started traveling 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been traveling in the Europe. So I was in Bulgaria for 3 months, and now in Albania, for the past 3 months, and now I'm going back to Albania again.
Nice, nice, awesome.
Yes.
So tell me, what did you want to add, honey?
So it's very interesting because I feel like I'm also asking the same questions for myself. That what is it that gives me more clarity, and is it really about knowing what it is that we want, or is it the beliefs that we have, believed about ourselves, about going forward, going for those goals, because sometimes it's we don't even believe in ourselves, we don't see ourselves worthy enough of being able to achieve something, being able to have an empire, and that's why we don't see what we want clearly, because we can't even we don't see it happening for ourselves, we don't because of the limiting beliefs that we have for ourselves and not seeing ourselves as worthy enough. So I feel like the root of it, the root of clarity, comes from like recognizing that we are worthy, like unconditionally worthy and enough. And like when we get to that space, then we can, and then the ideas come like so naturally. It's just like we get downloads of like the next few steps.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's sometimes it's just like the next step. Like we just get insights about what is the best next step. And I feel like that's the best thing to have, like in order to like find the path, because like I feel like it's different for each person. Like not all people know like what is the end goal. Like not all people know like what they want in like 5 years, because so many people change. Like people go through so many changes, and like especially when they're not so authentic to themselves.
Yeah.
So in that process, just tuning into what is the best next action is going to give us the most clarity.
There you go. But Jeff also said the same thing in his whys. You see, he was also in the why, was clarifying everything, that why is it that I want to build an empire, or what is it that he also said. So you guys are basically saying the same thing, that I need to be really, really clear about why do I want it, because as we all know, if we achieve, which I have done that many times in my past lives, is that I so badly wanted something, and I was absolutely clear about why I wanted, and I was really focused, and I done it, and I achieved it. But once I achieved it, I was like, oh, okay, so what? It's like, I really wanted, at some point, I was like, I want to get this really big house on top of the mountain with a view and a swimming pool and that stuff. And once I got it, for a couple of days, it was interesting. But then it only after 2 weeks, that interest, that excitement, it just wind down. And I was like, is this what I really wanted? This is so big. This house is so space. I mean, I couldn't relate myself to the house. You know what I mean? So this is just one simple example. I mean, there are many things that I have done, goals that I have achieved, and then I come out and say, is that it? I mean, that's all, So absolutely, we need to really, really know that, okay, once I build this empire, what do I get? What's the feeling? Because we always after the feeling what it is, right? So anyhow, going back to what I was saying, and then you guys can join again, is that when we're really crystal clear, the energy of clarity is just laser focus. So this is what I want, and it's just like boom, it's just right there. So that's step number one, to be crystal clear. The second step is, now that I know, and I know the why I want to build an empire. I mean, for a lot of people, because I've been talking about this a lot, and for a lot of people who build an empire, when I ask them their whys, they were like, because it gives me power. A lot of us are after power, right? And also, what they connect to this part is the financial freedom. A lot of us wants to build an empire to have a lot of money, and the money that we have is giving us power, right? So empowerment is, to a lot of us, is, success. For a lot of us is making a lot of money, having a lot of money, and then therefore I am powerful. So mainly for a lot of us, is, if we're really clear, is about power. A lot of people also ask freedom into this. They like, okay, if I build my empire and I'm very wealthy and I have a lot of people who are working for me, I have my freedom. I'm free. Then I don't have to, not only I don't have a 9 to 5 job that I have to go, not only I have to answer to a boss, right? I can do whatever I want. But for me, I mean, maybe because I'm a workaholic, maybe other people experience are different than mine. For me, it was once I became, I've been self-employed for many, many years, and I had always a lot of people who helped me out with work and all that stuff. But it didn't give me any more freedom. I mean, I don't have any more time. On the contrary, I always envy people who have a 9 to 5 job. I'm like, you can go to work, and after you come back, whether it's 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or 5 p.m., then you're free. Your mind is free. I don't have that because I work 7 days a week, and every day is like all these ideas. I want to implement all these different ideas, and it's always so much going on. So, what do you want to say, Jeff?
No, I agree completely. I agree completely, which is why, there's a lot there to speak to. And I have a family member who has a very prestigious job, very prestigious job with a very well-known organization. If I said who he worked for, everybody would know the company. And
I
he's very
think
high
he's
up.
talking about his brother, guys, but you didn't
Yeah.
hear that from me.
And
Yeah.
he is the proverbial slave to his job. I mean, he works from morning till night, doesn't get to see his family very often. I mean, he is in demand mode all the time. So there is a huge, and his wife's pregnant with their second kid, and you got to think, like, how much of he's got another daughter. It's like, well, how much of his daughter's lives is he gonna miss by being this high demand, employee at this prestigious company where he's in demand mode all the time? That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the concept of, let's say, working hard to make a lot of money to buy freedom, you're absolutely right. That's often the exact opposite truth.
Yeah.
That you're going to end up in some position where you are kind of sacrificing your life and perhaps the life of getting to experience your family and life in order to make all of that money. So we often have this fantasy that once we get to the top, it's easy and there's going to be all this money and then there's going to be all this time, and that's not true at all. And I agree with, I like what you said about, you didn't use the word anxiety, but I'm going to kind of bring that word to it, where you said you kind of envy people who have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
At 4, 5, 3, whatever, you can shut off because, I'm also self-employed and have been for quite a while. And you don't eat unless you go out and hunt. When you have a job, somebody else is doing the hunting for you. You just show up and help. But when you're an entrepreneur, if you have that drive to be an entrepreneur and build an empire, again, you don't eat unless you hunt. So you got to get up and you got to get out there. You have to have that level of drive to go out and put food on your own plate. No one else is doing it for you.
Yeah.
Not even providing an opportunity for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Dorsa, you want to add something to this before I move on?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yes,
honey.
absolutely.
Jump in.
Yes. So I totally agree with you that, like, people think, being self-employed or like having your own business is like you get more freedom. That's very true. I mean, I'm a digital nomad. That's why I have the freedom to travel, because I'm my own boss and employer. Like, as long as I have internet, I can do the work. But at the same time, I work every day. Like, there's no time for it's like you have to be very like disciplined with like what time you put for work and like what times you take off. So, but at the same time, I feel like if we actually lean into the idea of living out our purpose and our dharma, we won't be working as much. And of course, we would be working. I mean, like, if you want to live out your dharma, you have to put in the work. But I feel like when you tune into the path that is the most in alignment with you, it doesn't seem like you're putting in too much effort, you know? It's like everything starts to align for you. And like for me, I feel for the past 6 months, I set this intention that I want to step into my dharma and like leave my purpose. And like I've been like very active and like I've been putting into so much effort, but it doesn't, you know, seem to tire me that much. It just gives me energy, and like the more I put in effort into it, it just gives me so much fulfillment, so much joy, and it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to talk about this concept of like human design, you know, like each person has like a different type of system.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that up in the couple of weeks, honey. Not right now.
Beautiful. Yeah, I just wanted to say that like it's important to acknowledge that like each of us is like different. You know, we are wired different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, like we have to honor our own energies and our own bodies when like when we're working and like putting in effort.
Absolutely. What I wanted to add there, Dorsa, my lives are about 30 minutes, honey. So we have to wrap it up. We're moving a little bit quicker because in total we got 30 minutes to go. But what we talked about, I think Jeff and I, a couple of weeks ago in our joint live was that the energy has changed. You know, the planet Earth energy is constantly changing. And once you're in tune with the energy that's going on, I said, maybe till a couple of years ago, we were supposed to be working hard, and it was like 80% work, and you got to work hard. Your hard work is paying off. But right now, the last couple of years, the way I see it energetically, the last 2 years, that 80-20 has changed. So right now, because more people are becoming conscious, we're supposed to be using 20% of our energy for work and then 80% play and fun. Now, when I say that I'm working 7 days a week, I want to make a correction. My work doesn't seem like work to me, you know, because I'm so aligned with what I'm doing, and my work is my hobby, is my, you know, what I love to do. When I'm doing a private coaching sessions, when I'm doing my webinars, my lives, working and being engaging with the groups that are helping me out in the back end, it's all very much fun. So right now at this moment, I want us to take that pressure off working hard, and it's only by working hard is that you achieve, you reach your goal, and you can build an empire. Right now is all about being sharp and smart. To me, I think the more you can quiet down this thinking machine up here, the more you go within, that clarity comes and it shows up for you. So you can see crystal clear about what it is. You hear it. This is your next step. And imagine if you're aligned and you are in touch with your higher self, and your higher self is kind of guiding you about your next step, and therefore you are clear, then everything is, it's so much easier, because once we are connected to our higher power, or whatever we want to call it, our, higher consciousness, God, universe, whatever. Whenever you're connected to that, you're not using or wasting energies, as what Dorsa was saying. When you align with your mission, right, and your mind is not working constantly, and you're connected, you learn how to go within, and you're using that power, you're not using 100% of your energy. Maybe you're using 10 or maximum 20%. The 80% is rolling on by the universe, right? So keep that in mind, guys. I think maybe I should reverse that. The first step would be the question that you ask yourself: how do I find the way within? How can I quiet down myself enough so I can hear my higher self or my guide? Going back to you, Jeff, before we wrap up.
I think that the questions of as I said earlier, going upstream, like constantly asking, well, why do I want that? Well, why do I want that? I think if you focus on that, I'm going to bring in the word meditation, right? Because the translation of meditation is to think on, to contemplate. So if you contemplate why you want something, I think that can actually be your tool to quiet the mind. You're accomplishing two things at the same time, because you're quieting the mind by focusing on the one question. And then when you get the answer to that, focus on that. Well, like we were saying, well, why do I want that? Quiet the mind, focus the attention on that one question until you have an answer. And if you really focus your attention on the singular question, you accomplish both those goals.
Absolutely. Dorsa, what would you like? Do you want to add something here?
Just one last note that always honor your intuition and your inner calling. Like that's the truth that you need to follow. And also thanks for having me.
Of course, Lovey,
Thanks
anytime.
for having me.
Anytime. I would love to have you on. Okay, guys. So I think, yes, we're going to wrap up this live, and we're going to have a lot of posts and videos coming in for you guys, that we're going to give you more and more steps and more tools. And the only thing you guys have to do is to subscribe. If you guys haven't, by the way, subscribed on my YouTube channel, please do so. Sarah, is my YouTube still Sudi Burnett English, or have you changed that already? What is it?
No, it's Suit Guru.
Oh, I have changed, guys. My YouTube channel is Suit Guru. Do you guys know that I got Suit Guru right now? So you can also call me. That was a download that I got as a Suit Guru. So my English channel is Sudi Burnett, but Suit Guru. If you haven't subscribed on my YouTube channel, please do so. And also follow us. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, also you can follow Jeff and Dorsa. So stay tuned every day. As you guys know, I am very blessed for having an amazing team that are helping me out on the back end. It's Sarah, Sahar, and Matin, Mershad, God knows so many, Ferishte, Zoya, Bahar, Farzane. And I'm really, really blessed to finally have an amazing team that are working 24 hours with love. They're not even getting paid, guys. Don't even think that. So, yeah. Another thing, if you guys want to build your empire, make sure that you have a good team that you can trust, because trust is extremely important. And as you guys know, I've been in this business for 40 years. I've been self-employed for 40 years. God knows with how many assistants and how many people have worked me throughout this lifetime. But sometimes I have to pick and choose to have the team. And sometimes I have employees who are extremely good at what they do. But then again, I cannot trust them. So I have learned that sometimes I have to compromise to have someone in my team who are not expert at what they do, but I can trust them. I know that they're going to be with me till the end of my journey. And this is very important to build your empire. If you have employees, make sure you find or hire the right employees. And also, if you are looking to merge with someone else, make sure that your energies are matching and they're coming from a right side, and you can always think about them when you're interviewing them, when you want to add someone to your group. Always look at the long, long term, not how they do or perform right here, but also look at them. Like I said, when I hire and fire a lot of people, and some people that I hold on to are those who I know that they're going to be with me till end of my life, and I know that they are so devoted and so honest and so transparent that I can just give them anything and never worry about if they're going to do something wrong, or if they're going to backstab me, or if they're going to steal from me, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, we're going to end this live. Thank you so much, Jeff and Dorsa. We see you guys next Thursday. Please follow everybody who is here, share the love, and I love you guys, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help you guys to build your empire. Love and peace. Till next Thursday. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thanks, love. Bye bye, everyone. And Sarah, what am I doing here? Do I have to end? Are you ending?